guys, this is B16 Specv here for another video, and today we are going to talk about what kind of aftermarket the B16 Specv has. So I'm going to try doing the video this way with you seeing the road, so hopefully the video is maybe less jumpy, maybe it looks a little bit better, a little bit more fun or easier to watch, if that makes any sense. So let's get into it. So I'm probably going to put a little list right here and order of mods I talk about. That way, if there's a particular mod you're interested in, you can just skip to a time point. I'll try to put time points in the video here just for your convenience. Short shifters. I am on the Fidanza short shifter. It's just a little plate that goes onto the shifter arm. Essentially, it's very similar to the Diesel Geek shifters you'll see on the Volkswagen GTIs and such. So I like it a lot. Fairly simple to install once you figure out those honestly pretty vague instructions. Alright, so in terms of aftermarket for this car, there isn't a lot of it. Admittedly, there really is not a lot for it. It's not as bad as my Saturn that I used to have. If you can go back and look through my channel back in the older days, I did have a Saturn. So this car definitely has a lot more than that car did. But it's not on the levels of 240SX, 350Z, FRS, BRZ, Mustang, stuff like that. But let's say you have one of these cars and you're wanting to modify it and you want a basic guide as to stuff you can do. Let's get into that. So as far as air intakes go, you have the choices of the engine cold air intake, which is what I personally have, the K&N Typhoon intake, and I believe it's the AFE power something intake. I can't remember the exact name. So the AFE and the K&M are short ram intakes. They're not horrendous. I've heard good things about them. I've heard that they actually have a bit of a better air-fuel ratio and the higher RPMs. Something having to do with the the K&N's tubing size, I think. I've also heard bad things, such as the car wanting to run rich or idle hunt and such like that. The engine intake, I really haven't heard anything bad about it. That's what I personally run. I've heard the mass airflow sensor is a bit too far away from the throttle body and has too many bends or something in it, which that's a lot of tuner related stuff that I'm not particularly worried about. The tuner can adjust whatever the hell he wants when he's modifying the map to fit your bolt-on, your mods. So now let's talk about exhaust systems. I personally run the Armonic Performance 3-inch header with the Armonic 3-inch bed pipe with a Borla 2.5-inch muffler. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good sounding setup for what it is right now. Very few complaints about it, but I have ordered and will be upgrading to the 3-inch catback from Redline 360. I think DNA Motoring has it as well, and I'll be putting a Vibrant straight power muffler and Vibrant bottle style resonator on it. You can also get a header from OBX. I think it's what people used before the Armonic header became available for the market. You can find, I think it's called the SRS header on eBay as well. Personally, I want to recommend it because if you're spending $900 on a header, it better be the Armonic header. Now, in terms of anything else for this car, I have BC Racing coilovers on this car. I'm sure you can find Godspeed or such like that. I would personally just recommend the BC Racing if you want best of the best. I think K-Sport makes coilovers for this as well, but I don't know how K-Sport is as a brand. Now, I am I'm not going to explain the licenses right now. I'll explain that when I do my how to get your Sentra tuned video going. So I also have the HKS grounding kit on this. This is those purple wires you see in my engine bay. And I think it's called a PFB grounding kit. I got it from Slow Specv, who bought it from someone else. I'll put the name in here most likely once I get to look at it again. I also have the Mishimoto baffled oil catch can with the red, ouch, that hurt, with the red Mishimoto silicone hoses. And I have the Mishimoto radiator hoses, which, I mean, they just look aesthetically pleasing. I believe the silicone is supposed to withstand higher pressures and temperature than the rubber one is. I'm not sure as to how true that is, but they look really nice in there. Now, as far as aesthetics go, you can get the still-in front lip, which is what I want to get right now. I just want to get the lip painted at the same time as the front bumper so they both look nice. You can also get the still-in roof spoiler for this car. That's personally what I have, and I like how it looks. I think it looks very nice. I'm on Motegi track light racing wheels right now. I believe they are that MR131 wheels. They weigh 18 pounds, I believe, so they're definitely lightweight for what they are. The tires, they're just they're Riken Raptor tires. They're a sub-brand of Michelin, I believe. I wouldn't really recommend them. Just get a quality, good name tire. So maybe you're at the point now to where you have an intake, you have an exhaust, perhaps you have camshafts. I know Jim Wolftech makes some for the Sentra. I can't really recommend a particular one because I haven't done that much research into it. But now you want to get tuned to like really dial in all the mods, bringing everything together. So we have one good, very good up-rev tuner in the Sentra community. His name is Bobby. I won't disclose his full name or anything, as I really haven't talked to him about doing this type of video of bringing his name onto YouTube. But he tunes a lot of the cars in the Sentra community. He has a 2012 Sentra Specv. He's been tuning since 2012 because that's when he got his Sentra actually brand new. So you would need to use uprev. Ecitech doesn't have anything for these cars. I have considered going to Ecitech myself, but you have to use uprev to get this car tuned if you want something that's readily available. So now, in terms of tuning companies that you can go for tuning and aftermarket parts, there is one company that is somewhat popular with the Sentra community, though I really wouldn't recommend using them. So don't take this as slander. This is just me voicing things that I have heard from people that have used this company, and they are called 2J Racing. So what is it about them specifically that I would say to stay away from? So they have an air intake by engine, which that's honestly perfectly fine. It's the engine intake. They have I believe it's a MagnaFlow exhaust for them, a catch cam for us. They may or may not make camshafts for us. I can't exactly remember. And they do tune B16 Specvs. So why am I saying stay away from all that? The exhaust, I have heard from the community that the intakes they make for other cars have slag in them. And for those of you who don't know what slag is, essentially when you're welding, there is this leftover metal material, or this melted metal material called slag, and you want to take that off before you put it on anything. Reason being, if you have an air intake that has slag in it, which has been reported in the community a few times, well, if that metal breaks off and it gets into your combustion chamber, your engine is, to quote Alex from Feminine Industries, straight up not having a good time. So I would kind of stay away from them for that being one of the reasons. Their products don't seem to be of the highest their tunes is what everyone in the Central community says to stay away from. I have heard bad things about their tunes not being that much from the stock tune, which is pretty bullshit in my opinion, because it had better be pretty fucking different from the stock tune. I mean, you want more aggression and sell car enthusiasts basically the stock ROM back with their hard-earned money is pretty bullshit. And now if you happen to get one that does have major revisions done to it, I've heard multiple times, like multiple accounts on the Central forums, that the engines actually literally exploded, or they ate themselves alive from the new settings they were given. So 2J has been said that the car would be completely fine before the tune, like completely reliable. But then after a tune from 2J, the car just would not run as good if it ran at all. And 2J will not stand by their work, claim responsibility like a reputable, good tuner or aftermarket company should. So I just highly recommend staying away from 2J for that reason. I have heard of them making actually good parts that do work well, but I just don't go to them, guys. Don't tell them that I said that, obviously, because I don't want trouble with anyone. But I'm just trying to look out for you guys. So don't go to 2J Racing. Now, of course, if you want to go to 2J, if you want to buy some of their parts, if you want to get tuned by them, I obviously can't stop you. They've been extremely hit or miss with whether or not their parts have been good or not. But I'm just going off of everyone else's recommendations and not using them. And I'm already on a base map from my independent tuner, who, like I said, is making my revised tune. So I'm just gonna wait for him to give me back my revised tune. So I have reasons as to why I don't or can't go to 2J. So that's about it for this video. I just wanted to get out some aftermarket parts that we do have. They used to make solid shifter bushings for this car. They don't make them anymore, so that was just another part I wanted to throw out there. Along with the Racing Line lower torque arm, I almost had the opportunity to buy one. I chose not to, but that's fine. I do like the torque mounts I have now, which, by the way, one more thing to mention, the torque, there are a few more things mod-wise that I can mention before I close this video out. One of them is that I think there were the TTW something company bushings for the shifter. The shifter assemblies held onto the car with 4 bushings. A company did make them out of plastic or metal or something like that to just give it a better feel. They are discontinued, so you can't use them anymore, but I'm going to see if I can maybe have my buddy 3D print some for me. Just curiosity, just to see how it feels. You can also use the Ford Focus ZX2 energy suspension bushings for the upper and lower motor mounts. I have them. I like them a lot. I do not have any complaints with them. You can also use polyurethane window weld on the upper and lowers. I've heard those work fine also. The only caveat with the upper mount, as I mentioned in the past, is the stock mount is off-centered and the energy suspension mount is centered, so that might change the exhaust geometry a little bit, which is probably why I actually had trouble putting the harmonic mid-pipe on. So that's actually about it in terms of aftermarket for this car. It's not dead, but there isn't a whole lot for it either. So I want to go ahead and get this video out to you guys in case you're looking to modify your Specv and you don't know where to start, or if you've already modified your Specv and you were wondering what else there was for it. so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe. It's completely free to do both. And I will see you